Most men come to the market believing the secret lies hidden in complication. They hunt for it in stacks of paper, in crowded chalkboards of indicators, in formulas so tangled that no clear thought can pass through them. They believe the market rewards cleverness, that profit is reserved for those who can outcalculate, outdesign, out-engineer the next fellow. That belief is the first mistake, and it is the one that empties more accounts than bad luck ever could. The market is not impressed by how complex your thinking is. It does not pay a premium for sophistication. It responds only to truth, and truth in the market is always simple. Price moves because supply and demand shift. It rises when demand overwhelms supply, and it falls when supply overwhelms demand. Everything else is decoration. Useful decoration, perhaps, but decoration all the same. When a man loads his chart with too many tools, he is not gaining clarity. He is avoiding responsibility. Complexity gives him something to blame. When the trade fails, it was the indicator, the model, the timing algorithm. Simplicity leaves no place to hide. If you buy because the trend is up and the market proves you wrong, the fault is yours alone. That accountability is uncomfortable, so most men avoid it. I learned early that the big money is never made in the thinking, but in the sitting. Sitting requires conviction, and conviction only comes from understanding what truly matters. A simple approach forces you to focus on the few conditions that actually move prices. A complex approach scatters your attention across dozens of variables, none of which you fully trust. When you do not trust your method, you cannot sit, and if you cannot sit, you cannot win. The market speaks in a clear voice, but it does not shout. It repeats itself quietly. Trends persist longer than logic says they should, and reversals announce themselves before they are obvious. Simplicity trains your ear to hear these messages. Complexity drowns them out. The man who needs 5 confirmations before he acts will always arrive late. By the time his last signal agrees with the others, the opportunity has already paid the man who trusted the obvious. There is a strange comfort in complicated systems. They make a trader feel protected, as if layers of calculation form a shield against loss. In truth, they do the opposite. They slow decision-making, and in the market, hesitation is costly. The best trades feel uncomfortable precisely because they are clear. The crowd is uncertain, the news is mixed, but the price is moving in one direction with persistence. A simple trader acts. A complex trader waits. The market does not wait with him. I have watched markets for long stretches of time, and one thing remains constant. Price action leads. Explanations follow. The man who waits for full understanding will always trail the man who recognizes a pattern he has seen before. Those patterns are not complicated. Higher highs and higher lows. Lower highs and lower lows. Consolidation followed by expansion. These are not secrets. They are plain, and because they are plain, they are ignored. Simplicity also disciplines risk. When your method is simple, your exit is clear. You know where you are wrong. When your method is complex, your exit becomes an argument. One indicator tells you to hold, another tells you to sell. You hesitate, you rationalize, and small losses grow large. A simple rule cuts that process short. It says, the condition that put me in this trade no longer exists. I am out. No debate, no ego. Most losses do not come from being wrong. They come from staying wrong. Complexity gives a man endless reasons to stay wrong. Simplicity gives him only one reason to stay in. The market is still doing what he expected it to do. When that stops, so does he. The market rewards patience, but patience is not passivity. It is selective action. A simple approach makes selectivity possible. You are not trading every fluctuation because your system demands constant activity. You are waiting for alignment of the few things that matter: trend, price, behavior, and risk. That waiting is not boring. It is professional. There is another danger in complex strategies that few speak of. They decay. Markets change character. Volatility expands and contracts. Liquidity shifts. A strategy built on too many assumptions breaks when one assumption no longer holds. The trader often does not realize it until the damage is done. A simple approach adapts naturally because it rests on behavior that never changes. Human fear and human greed were the same long before electronic screens, and they will be the same long after. When a man believes he must constantly improve his system, he is admitting he does not yet trust it. Improvement is good, but constant tinkering is a sign of insecurity. Simplicity encourages mastery. You learn one approach deeply. You see how it behaves in different conditions. You learn when not to use it. That depth cannot be achieved when your attention is divided among endless variations. The market does not test intelligence, it tests discipline. A simple strategy is easier to follow with discipline because the rules are few and clear. A complex strategy invites discretion at precisely the wrong moments. It allows emotion to masquerade as analysis. The trader believes he is adjusting logically, when in truth he is reacting emotionally. I have always believed that if you cannot explain your trade in a single sentence, you should not be in it. That sentence forces clarity. It reveals whether you are acting on observation or hope. Hope thrives in complexity. Observation thrives in simplicity. Consider how trends actually end, not with a single dramatic signal, but with a gradual loss of momentum, a failure to continue. A simple trader notices this early because he is watching price itself. A complex trader waits for confirmation from his tools, and by the time it arrives, the trend is already gone. He gives back what he made, and often more. Simplicity also protects a man from overtrading. When your method is complicated, you feel compelled to justify its existence by using it often. When your method is simple, you accept that opportunities are fewer but clearer. Fewer trades, taken with conviction, will always outperform constant activity driven by uncertainty. There is a misconception that simplicity is crude, that it lacks refinement. In truth, simplicity is the highest refinement. It is what remains after unnecessary elements are removed. The best traders are not those who know the most, but those who know what to ignore. I have known men who could recite theories endlessly and yet could not make a living in the market. I have also known men of few words who did very well by doing very little. They waited, they watched, and when the time came, they acted decisively. Their methods were not mysterious. They were obvious. That was their strength. The market is a business, not a puzzle to be solved anew each day. A businessman does not redesign his entire operation every morning. He follows a proven process and refines execution. Simplicity allows you to think like a businessman. Complexity traps you in the mindset of a gambler chasing certainty. Certainty does not exist in speculation. Probability does. A simple approach aligns you with probability because it focuses on repeatable behavior. A complex approach chases certainty through calculation, and in doing so, it blinds you to what is actually happening. There is also the matter of emotional endurance. Trading is not a single decision but a series of them over time. A complex strategy exhausts the mind, decision fatigue sets in, and mistakes follow. A simple strategy conserves mental energy. You know what you are looking for, and when it appears, you act. The rest of the time, you do nothing. Doing nothing is an underrated skill. Most men feel the need to be involved, to participate, to have an opinion. The market does not reward opinions, it rewards alignment. Simplicity makes it easier to stand aside when conditions are not right. Complexity creates the illusion that there is always something to do. I have often said that the market does not beat people, they beat themselves. Complexity is one of the tools they use to do it. It gives them confidence without clarity and activity without purpose. Simplicity strips those illusions away. When you reduce your method to its essentials, you also reduce the role of fear. Fear thrives in uncertainty. When you know exactly why you are in a trade and exactly where you are wrong, fear loses its grip. You may still take losses, but they are controlled, expected, and survivable. Survival is the first requirement of success in speculation. You cannot profit from opportunities you are not alive to take. Simple risk rules keep you in the game. Complex strategies often hide risk behind layers of logic until it is too late. There is a certain honesty and simplicity that appeals to the market. You are responding directly to what it is doing, not to what you wish it would do. You are not trying to outsmart it. You are aligning yourself with it. That alignment is where profits come from. I would urge any trader who feels overwhelmed to strip his approach down to the bare essentials. Watch price, identify direction, define risk, wait, act, exit when proven wrong. That is not exciting advice, but excitement has no place in speculation. The greatest enemy of the trader is not ignorance, but the desire to be clever. Cleverness seeks applause, simplicity seeks results. The market offers no applause, only profit and loss. In the end, the market respects one thing above all: consistency. Consistency comes from doing the same sensible thing over and over. Complexity makes consistency difficult. Simplicity makes it inevitable. If you want to last in this business, if you want to keep your head clear when others lose theirs, choose simplicity. Let others chase elaborate schemes and secret formulas. You will be busy doing what works, quietly, patiently, and repeatedly. That is how fortunes are made in speculation, not through brilliance displayed, but through discipline applied, not through complexity embraced, but through simplicity mastered.